We'll call to order the Lewisville Town Council meeting for April of 2015. We certainly thank you for your attendance and for your interest in the town of Lewisville. It's good to see everyone tonight. As is our custom, we call the roll of council by introducing each of our council members. To my immediate right is our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilperson Sandra Mock, followed by Councilman Ed Smith. We've been notified that Councilman Jeff Zinger is on his way, but he is going to be a little bit late arriving, so we'll go ahead and start without him. To my left is Councilman Robert Green, Councilman Mike Horn, Councilman Dr. Ken Sadler. We've got members of our staff that are with us tonight, headed by our town manager, Hank Perkins. He will be leading us through the meeting as we proceed. We have our town attorney, Mr. Bill Houff. We have Joyce Walker, our town clerk, Ms. Kathy Bruce, our finance director and assistant town manager. We have also in the audience is Marty Myers, our planner, Mr. George Hauser, our public works director. And then to the rear on the taping tonight's meeting for playback, recording it for playback next week on Channel 6 is Ms. Lynn Hall, our public information officer and our advanced supervisor and director. And Elizabeth Cruz representing the press tonight. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being with us. With that, we have our agenda. I think it was probably sent out by no, it wasn't sent out electronic, but I think there are some changes or some additions to what we had agreed or what we had passed and approved at our briefing session.
Yeah, there were discussions at the briefing meeting that get information together on some budget amendments that were needed to move money around for the capital projects, and finally got that finished about 7:15. So, but it is in your Dropbox.
Okay. There's one addition that I would like to make at the end of our session tonight. It'll actually be on the agenda. The item 8. It will be new. Subcontent C would be a closed session, and then we'd move the adjournment to item D under Roman numeral 8. With that, I will ask for approval of the agenda. We have a motion by council.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the like sign. Okay, we do have an agenda. There are copies of the agenda at the rear on the table if you would like to get one and to follow through with tonight's order of business. So the first item would be actually item 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. We'll ask our manager to lead us through that.
Tonight's consent agenda consists of 9 items. The first is Resolution 2015-024 for the acceptance and approval of monthly financials for February 2015. Approval of council briefing and action minutes from March 9th, 2015. The approval of council closed session minutes from March 9th, 2015. The approval of council meeting minutes from March 12th, 2015. The approval of council closed session minutes from March 12th, 2015. The approval of council meeting minutes from March 26th, 2015. The approval of closed session minutes from March 26th, 2015. Resolution 2015-023 accepting the resignation of Kay Wilfong from the Lewisville Beautification Committee. And lastly, Resolution 2015025, accepting the resignation of Tom Lawson from the Lewisville Utilities Committee.
Those are the items of the consent agenda. Any questions of the manager on any of these items? Okay. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
And a second? Second. There's no further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the like sign. Okay, the consent agenda passes.
The next sections is introductions, presentations, and/or proclamations. We do have introductions and presentations for this evening. The first is introductions for the Sheriff's Department.
Okay, and Chris, are you going to lead that, or is the Chief Deputy going to lead that? All right.
One on each side, that's good. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for allowing us to be here again today. On behalf of Sheriff Schatzman, he wants to send his regards and also regrets that he cannot be here tonight. He had another scheduling conflict tonight, so I'm here in his place, and we'll try to carry the torch forward. As we know, there are changes in staff that come along, and so obviously I have two new staff members here to fill two voids that have occurred in Lewisville. The first occurred with Deputy Bonilla. He has been deployed through the military and will be gone what we're expecting about 14 to 15 months. So in his absence, we have assigned Deputy Owen here to replace him. And again, let's keep him and others. We have actually 4 people that were deployed at the same time through the Sheriff's Office in their service to our country and the military. So let's keep them in their thoughts and prayers during this next year and over to bring them back safely to us. The other one would be in replacement of now Corporal Pipkin. Greta was promoted as of, I think, somewhere the first part of this month or the end of last month. So obviously with that promotion brings her departure of Lewisville and on to a new assignment, which brings us to having Deputy Matthew Mitchell here. So let me just tell you briefly about both of these individuals. Start with Deputy Owen. He was born and raised in Stokes County and graduated from West Stokes High School. He has family members who have been involved in law enforcement in their careers, and so that obviously sparked an early interest in his thought and desire to become a law enforcement officer. As a result, he completed his basic law enforcement training in May of 2013 through Forsyth Technical Community College, and was hired by the Sheriff's Office on June the 24th of that year in 2013 as a deputy sheriff. Prior to his assignment here in Lewisville, he was assigned to our Field Services Patrol Section, and then most recently assigned again to Lewisville as of February the 28th of this year. In his spare time, he enjoys playing his guitar, is a gun enthusiast, motocross rider, music lover, and snowboarder. In some personal things, as I asked about some things, he describes in his own words, his parents, and I'll use his own words, were the most amazing parents that anyone could ask for. They have been and always have been a major support in his life and stood by him through every decision he's been involved with. He also has a younger brother who is also his best friend and is 21 years of age and is currently a soldier in the U.S. Army stationed in Japan. So I present to you Deputy Owen. Next, Deputy Matthew Dean Mitchell. He was born and raised in Wilkes County. Graduated from Wilkes High, or Wilkes Central High School in 2009, where he was on the wrestling team. He completed his basic law enforcement training in December 2012 at Wilkes Community College. He also was hired the same day. They both started together their career with the Sheriff's Office on June the 24th of 2013. Prior to his assignment here, he was also assigned to Field Services Patrol Division, and he started his new assignment on March the 28th, so just a week or two ago here in Lewisville. In his spare time, he enjoys hunting and fishing. So I present to you both two of our fine representation of our agency, Deputy Owen and Deputy Mitchell. Has any questions or comments, or I'll let them speak.
Well, first off, we'll say welcome to Lewisville. We certainly appreciate our community policing. It is it's the face of our town. In the past, we've had officers that have served this community with exception. They have done a tremendous job for us. They've set the bar high for the town and for conduct and performance of duty for each of the officers that follow them. But we do appreciate you so much. We think we're extremely fortunate. The cadre that we've had here over time has just been outstanding, and you, I'm sure, will continue to be a part of that. So if you'd both like to address council or the audience at this time, we'd appreciate to hear some words from you.
All right.
Here a month longer, so good.
Yeah. Seniority.
I'm horrible with words, so I apologize, but thank you for the opportunity to work in Lewisville. It's something I've wanted to do ever since I started out here. I want to go to community policing, and I feel like it's a good opportunity to get to know everybody.
Very good.
Very much.
Well, we'll get to know you better as time goes on, for sure, and we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Felt like Deputy Owen. Not real good at speaking out publicly.
Well, you've both done well.
Just like to thank everybody for the opportunity and the chance to work in Lewisville.
That's our pleasure, really and truly. Chris, would you like to say something about the new additions or about the
slide by
system?
without having to talk, but I've had an opportunity to work with both of them before they came to Lewisville, and now that they've come to the town, they do a great job. They use a lot of common sense when they apply the law. I think they will be an asset to the town. I think they'll be a good blend with the town staff, the town people, the town council, the citizens, and I'm really looking forward to working with them. I think the chief and the sheriff have made a good choice in sending them to us, so we're looking forward.
They've looked out for us in the past.
Well, with the exception of me, I guess, but
We appreciate
they
that.
Have a few boo-boos.
No way.
But if you need anything from them, feel free to call upon them. I think you'll be impressed with it.
We look forward to the service. Thank you so much. Brad, thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate that as always.
Well, certainly, and again, we appreciate the continuing partnership between the Sheriff's Office and the town of Lewisville, providing your primary law enforcement. Again, as always, if there's something that you see that we can improve on, please let us know.
We'll certainly do that.
Thank you.
And vice
Appreciate your
versa.
service.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Very good.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being with
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have some service recognitions that we want to present tonight. I'll come forward to do that. We'd like to take, the council would like to take a few moments to recognize three special individuals that have served this town with distinction. And first, I'd like to call Kelly Revis forward. Kelly, if you would, please. Kelly's been a member of the planning board since 2005. 10 full years.
years.
Yeah. He served with distinction. He has given above and beyond the call of duty to the town in the time that he's been on the planning board. He's been involved with the early on with separation of the Winston-Salem for South County UDO into and basically in changing it into the Lewisville UDO. He had a very large part of that. He's been involved with landscaping requirements for the UDO, updating basically 2 comprehensive plans during that time period also. He was heavily involved with the access management plans that we've got in the town and also the downtown guidelines. These are just a few of the things that you've been involved with and given leadership to over time, so we appreciate that so much. He has held the position, I forget how many years, as vice chair, but several years for sure during the 10 years that he's been on the board. But he was elected by his peers on the board as the chair in 2014. So the past 2 years he served as the chair of the Lewisville Planning Board. So this is a certificate of appreciation presented to Kelly Rivers in recognition of 10 years service and contributions to the Lewisville Planning Board, given under my name and signature this April the 9th, 2015. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Where we can get a good picture of it, maybe. All right. We're in good shape. All right. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I thank you for the opportunity, and the council, I thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Very good. After 10 years, we know the experience and the leadership that's been given by Kelly, and we know where he lives, and we have his contact information, so we'll continue along with that. Next, another planning board member is Mr. David Spees. David, if you'd come forward, please. David's been on the planning board since 2008, and even before then, though, he had a major part with the town. He served on the small area plan for the Vienna district, and we got to know David from that, and it just migrated to bigger and better things for the town and for your involvement. So we appreciate so much, David, your service to the town, your expertise, and you just have done a tremendous job for us, and we appreciate that so much. We're very sorry to lose you off of the planning board, but David was involved in the landscaping requirements for the UDO. He's been also on the updating the comprehensive plan, certainly from the 2010 standpoint and the early stages of 2015, so we appreciate that. Also involved with the access management, the downtown guidelines, and the review of the greenways and bike study over this period of time. So we appreciate so much the time, the effort that you put forward. You've been so faithful in your attendance to the meetings, and sometimes there were extra meetings per month but you were always there for the town. David, we appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for your service. Okay. Would you like to say anything?
Just thank all the council members and planning board members. Kelly, I think Kelly's done exceptionally a great job. My resume is not quite as intense as Kelly's, but it's good. But anyway, thank y'all. I think you're on the right direction. I like the way the town's going, and I like the people that I've worked with here. I thank all of you very much.
Well, thank you so much for your service. And we have, as a member of the our municipal service district, Mr. Collette, excuse me. No, if you would come forward, please. Thank you for being here. Mo was actually appointed to the interim Willow Run Municipal Service District Advisory Board back in early 2002. And that board actually led then to the full board, fully chartered Municipal Service District of the Willow and the Runnymede area. So during the time that Mo has been on the board for the Municipal Service District, he's been involved in a number of projects on the lakes and the dams in the Willamette and the Runnymede area. And also he has given to the town through his leadership as chair of the board itself. So, we hate to lose you at this point in time, but let's see, how many years has that been all told? I think it's 13, if I do my math correctly. That you've given tremendous service to the town and to your district, your neighborhoods that you actually live in and are a part of. And we're extremely appreciative for all that you've given to the town. So thank you. Thank you. Jack, say something.
Well, what I'd like to say is I should be the one saying thanks to the town council, the town manager, and I think I've worked with the majority of the town staff off and on in different roles for y'all's support. When I first got involved, I thought this would be a 1 or 2 year kind of deal.
13 years later.
And what I've come to realize is it's an ongoing need for the maintenance and upkeep of those dams to provide service for our community and the people that come in and use it. So thank y'all. Certainly appreciate the support. Hank, you've been involved in a lot of our phone calls and conversations, so a great deal of thanks goes to you too.
Mo, as well as the other two members of the planning board, we each have given an unbelievable amount of time, personal time, to the town. You've sacrificed evenings and meals, even from the family standpoint. So we're very appreciative and know of that. And that's a call to duty that you each have served. So we appreciate so much each and every one of them. Thank you. Thank you.
What I have here in front of me tonight is the proclamation for National Autism Awareness Month. As most of you may know, April is the month for national awareness of autism, and we have actually had a day that the United States is now recognizing as April 2nd for National Autism. I didn't know if you knew that over the last 2 years, autism has risen by 30%. At the end of 2012, it was 1 in 88 children impacted by autism. At the end of 2014, it's 1 in 68. It has a tendency to impact boys 4 to 5 ratio more than girls. But let me read you the proclamation. Dan is here to accept it tonight. He has a granddaughter who has autism. Whereas autism is a pervasive development disorder affecting the social, communication, and behavioral skills of those affected by it, and whereas as more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed at the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 68 children nationally. And whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if individuals have autism, receive early and intensive treatment throughout their lives, they lead significantly improved lives. And whereas individuals with autism often require a lifetime of specialized and community support services to ensure their health and safety and to support families' resilience as they manage the psychological and financial burdens autism can present. And whereas the Autism Society of North Carolina, now celebrating 44 years of service to the autism community, is spearheading an awareness effort in order to educate parents, professionals, and the general public about autism and its effects. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Pro Tem Sandra Mott, do hereby proclaim April 2015 as National Autism Awareness Month in the town of Lewisville, and commend this observance to all citizens in order to become better educated about autism and create a better community for individuals with autism. And I present this to our mayor, Dan Pugh.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'd just like to say, certainly, having a family member that's afflicted with this terrible health situation makes it a little bit closer to home for sure. And from years past, when it was first started, being noticeable and diagnosed as such, you're exactly right, and the numbers are extraordinary. Where it used to be 1 in 15 years ago, I think it was about 1 in 150 were diagnosed. It's probably, the problem was that a lot of the diagnoses were maybe not accurate at that point in time. But today it is 1 in 68, I think. And so it's a terrible thing to deal with, but I know personally in my family, we're extremely fortunate that our little one is very high functioning, and so there's all degrees. There's a spectrum. On the spectrum, there's from low to high. Most health conflicts are, but it's something that's gaining notoriety, and we're hoping that someday there will be a breakthrough, that there will be a cure, and certainly probably the preventive side of the situation is where the big hope is of getting through. So thank you on behalf of the town. Certainly accept this, and appreciate it very much, Sandra. Thank you. That concludes the presentations and proclamations. Next, we will go to the first of 2 opportunities that we have at each of our council meetings for the public to address council. So during this public forum, what we ask is that if you have something, actually I don't think we've had anyone to sign up, or I don't have a sign-up sheet, but we ask that if you have an issue that you'd like to bring before council, that you come forward to the podium, you speak into the microphone, that you state your name and your address. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we'll remind you also that we will not enter into discussion, debate over any issue that you might bring forward, but we will be here to listen and certainly give due diligence to any issue that certainly would require attention by the council or by the staff. So at this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Okay, well, we do have forms at the rear of the chambers also on the table, that if you'd like to make written comments, you can certainly use that method also. So with that, we will close the public forum and go on to item 5, new business.
Item 5, new business, consists of an appointment order 2015001 for appointing Cynthia Kiger to the Lewisville Beautification Committee.
I will make a motion for appointment order 2015-001, appointing Ms. Cynthia Kiger to the Lewisville Beautification Committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that appointment takes place.
Next is ordinance 2015-032, amending Town Code Chapter 13-8 Lewisville Utilities Committee, clarifying quorum. I'll go through this since I've got it in front of me. The quorum, as it previously was listed, was a little bit confusing. We are clarifying where it did say the majority of the voting committee members, one of which must be chair or vice chair, but no less than 3, or a majority of the committee constitute a quorum. The committee is 7 members. So I think we had this language originally when it was contemplated to be a smaller group. What this amendment does is to remove the words, but no less than 3 or a majority of the committee. So after this is approved, it will read, the majority of the voting committee members, one of which must be the chair or vice chair, constitute a quorum.
All right. Any question of the manager concerning this ordinance amending the town code for the Lewisville Utilities Committee?
Move approval.
I have a second. All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that ordinance passes. Next item.
All right, the next is a recommendation from the Special Projects Review Committee to approve Ordinance 2015-033, amending Budget Ordinance 2014-027 in an amount of $5,000 to provide for Meals on Wheels to citizens in Lewisville.
I think this issue came before the Special Projects Review Committee this past week, and it is their recommendation that we approve through Ordinance 2015-033 a funding for partial funding of Meals on Wheels for Lewisville citizens. Any of the committee members would want to add anything to the discussion or to the what took place and why we're recommending this? Okay. Well, certainly it's an extremely vital part of our community to give oversight to those senior citizens that are not able to or have the mobility to be an active citizen in the community. And I can tell you from my association with the senior services group, which basically are the ones that implement this Meals on Wheels program, they do a tremendous job. A lot of times it is not just the nourishment that Meals on Wheels give, but it's also the social aspect of it. And that certainly plays a large part of it. And I think we as governing body of Lewisville certainly recognize the value and the worthiness of this participation. So with that, I would recommend approval of ordinance 2015-033. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that ordinance passes.
Okay, next is Resolution 2015-026, approving the engineering agreement for Summit Engineering to perform engineering services, CEI, for the NCDOT Lewisville Vienna Sidewalk Project U4741OL. Summit is currently performing these same services for the roundabout. They are to engage in the project with the town of Lewisville to perform the same oversight services for the sidewalk project. I will say that this afternoon we did open bids. There were 4 bids received, and there are promising results for that. This contract is based on an estimate based on 12 weeks. The price of the estimate was $35,334. The contract length will be 82 days in length for the sidewalk, which is just shy of being 12 weeks. So this will be the first part of the process for engaging the CEI services for the engineering firm. And then I expect, if all goes well with vetting the proposals or the bid proposals that we received today, we'll be able to put forth a recommendation and a contract proposal for acceptance by the board probably in the next week or so.
Very good. Any questions of the manager concerning this resolution? What's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve 2015026.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that resolution passes. Next item.
All right. The next items are a series of items related to Harper Road Lift Station. If I could ask Miss Kathy Bruce to go through those for council, I think she could do a better job.
Before we get into the specifics, could you maybe give the audience just a brief overview of what this is and how
yes,
the
sir.
town is involved?
Certainly, as council remembers and those in the audience and those watching on their televisions will remember, the town did reach an agreement with city-county utilities, Forsyth County, Winston-Salem, to participate as a partner in capacity in their brand-new, underway, being built right now, lift station on Harper Road. The town was desirous of obtaining around 750,000 gallons per day to be built into the Harper Road lift station for the sole use of the town of Lewisville. The price of that participation is $600,000. What you have before us in these ordinances and budget amendment are a series of budget ordinances and budget amendment that will take care of the financial requirement for the town to participate in that $600,000 with city-county utilities.
Thank you. Anyone on council like to expand on that, or
The only thing I was going to say, Hank, keep me honest, but I don't think we didn't have to do a complete capital layout initially, right? It's a phased-in approach, am I right?
Right. I don't think that city-county is interested in receiving all at once.
Right.
Yes.
any other questions or discussion points, council? Okay, now Ms. Bruce.
The first ordinance before you, as we discussed last week in the briefing, closes out a capital project that we had when we built this building. The next one also closes out a capital project fund that we had, Lewisville Clemens Road Widening Grant Project. Both of these projects have been laying on the books for a while, and as you know, the funds for that must move on to another capital project. So at this time, since this amount came due, or is coming due probably around October, we decided to close out these two projects and move into a new capital projects for the Harper Road lift station. And so these ordinance, the first one amends the municipal building ordinance to close it out and transfers the balance from that over to the Harper Road lift station capital project. So if you want to just take these individually, please.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2015-034.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And
Okay.
again, the next ordinance closes out the Lewisville Clemens Road Widening Grant Project. Originally, that project was scheduled back in 2009, and for the town to do, funds were moved, and later on, DOT decided to take over that project, whereas the town just, at the end of it, reimbursed an amount of $24,139, leaving the balance $151,460.59 on the books. So we'll be moving as well these funds over to the Harper Road lift station capital project if you desire.
Pleasure of council.
Make a motion to approve 2015-035.
We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The next ordinance is the establishment of the Harper Road Lift Station Capital Project Fund. As you can see, the first two transfers coming over from those two projects that we just closed out, with the balance of the funds coming from the general fund balance appropriated, for a total of $600,000 to be established in that fund.
Make a motion to approve 2015036.
Second.
Any discussion from council? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that ordinance passes.
Thank you. The next project we have coming before you is an establishment of a capital, sorry, what? Oh,
Budget
forgot the amendment. The budget amendment for the projects that we just established accommodates the moves on these funds. So if it's your desire, please.
Motion to approve 2015037.
Second.
Any further discussion with council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Now, once again, following up on what Councilman Smith, we've got basically half of the total for this project is coming from transfer from previous capital projects, that basically money that was left over.
That's correct.
And then, so the other half would come from the general fund.
A little less than that, yes, sir.
Or close to it, thereabouts. And that would then be paid under some schedule that's going to be agreed to.
The schedule is undefined right now, but I would not be surprised that CCUC may even let it ride to the end of the project. You just don't know. But I think that when they discussed it with Mr. Hargrove, he did indicate at some point it would be nice to get sort of an initial down payment, and then we figure out some schedule for additional payments past that.
I would say 50% is pretty initial. So, okay. All right, very good. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, I believe you have the establishment of a stormwater capital project fund. Our Public Works Director has notified us, as we discussed last week, that there are numerous repairs out there to be made in the stormwater area. By doing this, we have a stormwater capital reserve fund that we've been saving. Each year we add to that reserve fund for any future projects that we have. My understanding that the projects that we need to complete out there will probably not go over the $127,000 that we're establishing in this fund. So we're asking to transfer funds from our reserve over into a new capital project stormwater repairs fund. The first ordinance will do that, setting up the fund.
Okay. And we take these one at a time
Yes, sir,
also?
please.
Okay. So we have ordinance 2015-038, establishing the capital project ordinance stormwater repairs. So move. Second. Did we get a second?
Yeah, Ken.
Oh, okay, sorry, Ken. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That ordinance passes.
In order to move the funds from our capital reserve fund, we needed the board approval. Ordinance 2015039 allows us to move the funds from the reserve over into the new project fund.
Make a motion to approve 2015039.
Thank you.
Second.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion to council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. And the following budget amendment accommodates the two ordinances that you just approved in order to move those funds.
Make a motion to approve 2015-040.
Second.
Any discussion with council? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the like sign.
Thank
That
you very
ordinance
much.
passes. So that cleans up some of the paperwork, at least, for two different projects. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Get back to our manager to lead us into the next item.
Okay, the next section is unfinished business. There is none before the council tonight. Moves us to administrative reports. We have upcoming events at Shalford Square and town holidays. On April 25th, we have the events kickoff with movie for Parks and Recreation. I think it's Big Hero 6, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. Following that, in May, on the 9th, we will have our first concert in the park. And then on the 15th in May, we will have our second, movie. It will be a Starlight Movie Night. And then by the end of May, we will have Memorial Day holiday observance, and that is on the 25th.
And I guess we could, at this point, make notice that the Memorial Day service will be conducted again by our local American Legion.
That's correct. Okay, and that concludes administrative reports for this evening.
Any question of the manager concerning any of the events or at Shelton Square or in the town holidays? Next item.
The next is that for the good of the order, it brings us to the second of our public comments opportunities.
Okay. Well, this, as the manager said, this is the second opportunity that we have at each of our council meetings, monthly council meetings, for the public to address council. The format is the same as was explained at the earlier public forum. Ask that if you have comments you'd like to make, that you come to the microphone and state your name, your address, and limit the discussion to 3 minutes if possible. And again, we will not enter into debate or discussion concerning any of these issues. So do we have anyone at this time that would like to address council? All right. Again, we have forms available for written comments. And with that, we'll close the public comments and go to council comments for tonight. Anyone have anything you'd like to bring up at this time? Welcome, Councilman.
I'd just like to say I spent the afternoon in Charlotte. I love Lewisville.
Probably spent part of it out on Interstate 77.
Apologize.
But all right, understand.
Traffic is traffic. Yeah.
Any other comments by council? Or from staff even? Okay. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we did have on our agenda an add-on, which is a closed session dealing with personnel issue. We'll ask our attorney to give us the nomenclature for that action.
Yes, Your Honor. This motion would be pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 143-318.11, parens A6, to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee.
Okay. Well, I so move that we go into closed sessions per the, what the attorney has addressed with on personnel issue. Do I have a second?
Second.
We will, at this point in time, go into closed session. Oh, I'm sorry. We did have a motion and a second. We need to vote on that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you. Get a little ahead of myself. To just make notice to the public that we will come out of closed session, come back into open session. We do not anticipate there will be any actions taken by council at that point in time in the remaining open session of tonight's meeting. So with that, we will now go into closed session. Thank you for your attention.